All right, Dave, I think we've broken down this Seahawks-Bears game from every possible angle. There is nothing that could possibly happen that would surprise us. But one thing that we didn't really focus a ton on, because you brought it up today on the show, is that, in the NBA last night, you had the San Antonio Spurs, who had a bunch of their starters that didn't even come to the game. In fact, they flew them commercially out to their next destination. You had Duncan out, and Ginobili and Parker, and, Popovich making a move, and you thought, all right, well, they're going up against the Heat. They're going to get waxed. Meanwhile, it was very competitive. The Heat only win by 5, and maybe the Heat played down to competition, or maybe it was the Spurs that rallied around the guys that were there. And you brought up that in relation to the Seahawks, talking about kind of the looming suspension, if you will, of Browner and Sherman, and perhaps we may see something similar with the Hawks if that were to happen.
Yeah, and you look at this weekend, I don't think there's been a time this season where they've had their backs more up against the wall. I mean, they're 1-6 on the road. They're going to a tough place like Chicago. As you mentioned, they have those possible suspensions looming in the distance, and sometimes it has a tendency to really bring a team together, and sort of it's a rallying point. And I've said so many times that and I'm not exaggerating, the talent level really is very close in the NFL, and that's why I laugh when people talk about replacing Sherman and Browner with safeties or somebody from some other position. They have professional backups, but with the talent level being so similar, it's often the team that's inspired or has some edge or some rallying point or something to play for. And it sounds corny and kind of hokey, like we talked about on the show today about when Holmgren showed the 2005 team that the video that, oh, they don't respect you, and some guys were like, oh, brother, and the other guys are like, yeah, let's go, we're being disrespected. And so it kind of sounds high schoolish, but I really think that does affect players. You find a reason to get up, and I remember having your backs against the wall as a player in '92. That's our defense. We were so good on defense and so bad on offense that we kind of felt that way. I think we went out and played even a little bit harder because of that.
So it kind of galvanizes the team.
It's a good word.
Brings everybody together, and I'm sure they're tired of hearing about it as much as a lot of them will say, well, we don't listen to the radio, we don't watch TV or look on the internet. They're aware of the chatter that's out there, the talk, and about this defense.
Yeah.
And I would bet that on some level, there have been those that have implied, well, maybe these guys aren't as good as we thought. Maybe they've had some enhancement. That's another way to kind of galvanize themselves, or really kind of go out and prove a point.
Right.
What? With that little inspiration you're talking about, extra inspiration, getting out there going, all right, you want to see how good we are? We'll show you. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that.
We hope so. And I remember yesterday we listened to Russell Wilson. I thought it was interesting to hear from him that he plays with that chip on his shoulder, that he likes it when somebody thinks he can't do it. And I remember I used to play that way too. I'd love nothing more than somebody telling me I can't do it. And so in Chicago they got this Rosenblum guy telling them that a cadaver can run against this defense. I mean, that stuff has to leak out. They have to hear that. So hopefully we can get some inspiration from even an idiot like this guy back in Chicago that thinks he can run against the Seahawks defense.
So if nothing else, stick it to Rosenblum.